Hey everybody, my name is Yonci. Welcome to my channel, Chasing Yonci. And today I am joined by dating and relationship coach, Chantal Hyde. Hello, darling. How are you?
Oh, my love. I'm so good. I'm so good.
Hey.
Like you, I'm amazing.
I love that. And I always say that. And some people are like, okay, chick, I know you're not really. And I'm like, no, really, I really am amazing.
We are what we think. And like I love it, we just had a little chat before we did this, right?
Yeah.
And I start off with how are you? And I actually usually don't even ask that. And you
Mm,
went, I'm amazing. And I went, oh, after my heart, because that's exactly what I say.
yeah. I love it. And it's interesting that you said that you don't usually ask that because I thought about that randomly about 3 days ago because I was walking down the street and I'm like, hi, how are you? And before he even really got a chance to answer, we had already passed. And I was like, we really say that, but we're not genuinely sitting there waiting for a response. And it's a little weird if someone were to dump on you and you're like, all right, what do I do with that? So I find it interesting that you said that.
But not only that, it's the frequency that we're projecting. And the frequency that we project really strengthens our like our vibration, our frequency. So your thoughts are a frequency. What you say is a projection of the frequency. So let's say I'm having a blah day, negative day, things are going wrong. And somebody says, how are you? And I go, it could be better. I'm bringing myself even further down. If I
Mm.
had a bad day and somebody says, how are you? I go, amazing. I just brought myself up because I just projected a positive frequency. So you always have to be careful about what you say. You always have to redirect what you think.
I absolutely love that. I'm always referencing scripture, and it says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And it's like a beautiful quote, just like that. That is whatever your heart is speaking. And so it also talks about speak what you want. And so I like that because you're saying you are creating your reality with your words. Because a lot of times people struggle and go, but I feel fraudulent saying I'm awesome if I really do feel like crap. But if you're saying this is what I want, every word is a spell, then you're speaking what you want as opposed to saying what you have already experienced in the past. So this is
Yeah.
going to be good. I already tell I need to have you come back for a couple of different topics, but thanks to Instagram. Okay. We are Instagram buddies. And I just love this time. I hear people talk about social media as though it is this what do you call it, all good or all bad thing. And I feel like everything is relative. Almost everything in life is relative, and it's really how you use it. And I have met some amazing people, some of which are like in my life and in physical time or real time, what do you call it, in the flesh, and some are remote. You're joining us from Canada, I'm assuming by your handle, Canada's dating coach. But make sure you guys follow her there. So I'm going to be dropping a link to her Instagram. Make sure you guys follow her. She is not stingy with the content. Some people give light, fluffy quotes. No shade to the people. Even people need light, fluffy quotes sometimes, but she gives the meat. So come hungry to her page because she will serve you up some really good stuff. All right, so let's dive into this. You guys, I have notes. So if you see my eyes darting, I'm not twitching. I'm just looking at my notes. So don't mind me. But you did a post with the headline Prerequisites for a Healthy Relationship. And so the reason I invited you today is because I want to talk about the correlation between your level of self-love and your ability to have a healthy relationship. And I will say this and then let you add your, what you would like to add and contribute to it. But I talked to ladies specifically on my page about how it is an illusion, like a mirage, so to speak, that whatever aching you're feeling inside is going to be remedied by a third party. I'm missing something inside. And so hopefully I can get it from you. And it puts these unrealistic expectations because no person can do that. And what a freaking scary insurance plan. I'm hitching my wagon of happiness 100% to yours. That is just a recipe for disaster on paper. So what are your thoughts about that? What do you want to give the good people before we just dive into these bullet points?
My number one relationship rule is it's not fair to ask for anything you're not willing to do first. So if you're asking for love, to receive love, you have to give yourself love. If you're asking to be understood, you need to understand yourself. If you're asking somebody to understand what makes you happy, you need to understand what makes you happy.
So we can just wrap there, guys. Thank you. Just kidding.
Done.
But it's so simple. I feel like many of life's truths are so simple, but
Yes.
because they're so simple, they're not valued, or they can just go over someone's head. I speak, therefore I am. That's so simple, but it's
Mhm.
life changing. So let's get into these bullet points, because ma'am, I was like, yes,
Yeah.
yes, honey. When I was reading these. Okay, so you said, ask yourself these questions, and we're going to go through. There are 6 questions. The first one, are you considerate of your physical and emotional well-being? Why is
Yeah.
that important, darling?
Well, listen, this is my body. I'm responsible for this body. I'm responsible for the food I put in it. I'm responsible for the emotions that are generated in this body because I'm responsible of who I'm going to let affect me. I'm responsible of who's going to be in my environment. I'm responsible of what is infecting me because I'm responsible for my eyes, my ears, my mouth, my heart, my intestines. And so we need to take responsibility for ourselves. Like a healthy relationship starts with self responsibility. And again, it's, are you going to dump yourself at someone else's feet and say, my emotional well being is in your hands? Doesn't work that way because that is disempowerment. Empowerment means my emotional well being is in the palm of my hand, not yours.
Amen. That's why I like to say I'm helping women get into the driver's seat in life, because I feel like with relationships, I love metaphors, as you're going to find out, but I feel like women look at relationships like they're getting out of their own car and sitting in the passenger seat of the guy's car, so that if we go down the road, maybe we went 3 miles down the road, if he suddenly stops and hits that eject button and kicks you out, you're stranded and there's no Uber, you're stuck. And so I see the metaphor of a healthy relationship is where I'm driving my own car, you're driving your own car, but we're choosing to be side by side and cruise down that road. So if you decide to leave, honey, that's fine. I'm just going to continue on the path, and I can wish you well. I'm not resentful. I don't feel like you've robbed me of anything. I could have enjoyed my journey as far as I got. And when it became enjoyable for either of us, we go on our own merry
Yeah.
way.
And let's just be clear, a good man wants you to be empowered and independent. That's a generous long term thinker. Like a generous long term thinker says, I want to look after somebody for the long term. But a selfish short term thinker, somebody says, I want somebody to look after me, and I'm just looking after my own gratification now. They want you to be disempowered. They want your emotional well-being to be in the palm of their hands because they can control you. A good man doesn't want to control you. He wants you to be in control of yourself.
Yeah. And even if he's not coming at it from what do you call it, a negative thing, maybe like he's not intentionally like a narcissist or something like that, the guy who's not healed thinks that that's love when you're dependent on him.
Yeah.
So he might look at it like, I don't want you to be comfortable without me. And a woman too, I need you to be totally at my mercy. And they think that that's an idea of love. And that would be, what's the word? Because I don't have the
Dysfunctional.
dysfunctional, but what is it called? Codependent. That
Yeah.
would be that codependency. And so that healthy thing is like, hey, I want you here voluntarily. If you want to bounce, that's totally up to you. But I want you to stay because this is where you feel like you want to be. And then
Yeah.
I want to be.
Full disclosure,
Yeah.
I was dysfunctional when I came into this relationship with my husband. I wanted him to be in pain over me. I wanted him to miss me. I wanted him to need me. And I had to come to realize that that was dysfunctional. And what was functional was him going through his day without being in pain because he missed me and yearned for me and wanted me by his side. And instead, able to focus on what he wanted to accomplish in order to advance himself. And I wanted him to need me. And it bothered me when I say, do you need me? And he'd say no. And I'd be like, damn, like stab me in the heart. Why don't you? And then, eventually he said, I need you to be this happy. And I was like, okay, satisfied there. But when I thought about it afterwards, I was like, that's really not functional at all. Like now that I am more mature, now that I am more evolved, now that I am more functional and confident,
Yeah.
I
That
don't
part.
need him, right? It was listen, I fought with my husband for 10 years. We haven't had a fight in 6 years. People say, why did you fight? I say, my insecurity.
Yep. He was fighting with your insecurities, not with you.
Yeah.
I love that. And look, I'm so tempted to tell mine, but I am such a talker. I will have you here for a whole hour. I need a whole tell all on my junk. Because my junk was intense. And it's so funny because people see, I'm sure the same with you, they see us now, the evolved version of ourselves. And it's like, oh my God, how could anyone ever have had an issue? And I'm like, oh no, this is a process.
Yes.
She was a hot, steamy mess. I was, and I still have work to do, but thank God I'm not where I was.
That's what makes us so good at what we do, because we're Sherpas. We're not textbook teachers. We are Sherpas. We carry the burden of knowledge.
I like that. Oh, okay. I'm telling you, you're going to have to come back for sure. Okay. So here's your next question. You said, do you look after your mind and body and soul on a consistent basis? I want to ask you a different question for this one. Can you give me an example of how someone could do it on a consistent basis?
Meditation, healthy foods, vitamin D, 5-HTP when you hit that little down until you feel better. So, in the beginning, I said, this is, your ears, your eyes, your mouth, your intestines. And so having a healthy mind and a healthy body is something that you do on a daily basis. The foods that you eat have an effect on the amount of serotonin your body produces. Serotonin is your body's natural happy chemical. It's produced in your gut. If you eat junk food, you inhibit the production of serotonin. 5-HTP will help you increase your serotonin production when you hit that little dip. Vitamin D, 4,000 units a day, is a mood booster. Getting some exercise every day, even if it's a 10-minute walk, that's 5 minutes out, 5 minutes in, gets the blood flowing faster because the heart's pumping more. Blood carries oxygen. Oxygen reduces inflammation. Depression and anxiety is inflammation in the brain. Meditation, Harvard did a study. They have people come in, do an MRI scan, go home, meditate for 8 weeks, come back, do another MRI scan. They saw the shrinkage in the amygdala, which is your fight or flight, which is stress, fear, and anxiety. They saw the increase in the hippocampus, which is introspection and compassion, how you think and feel about yourself, your self-confidence, your courage. So yes, every single day, meditation, eating whole foods, take your supplements, get some movement in. If you're not going to do all four, do at least one.
I absolutely love this. And I love that there's science backing this up, because you have the people who are spiritual or faith-based or what have you, and science is backing this stuff up. Now I have to make this joke because I know my audience. And I know that when you said vitamin D, with someone, I love that so y'all, she was talking about the actual vitamin, the supplement. Okay, so good loving. There is
4,000 units, not 4,000 Ds a day.
She is not talking about sexual healing, although I'm sure that does help. But you do not want to go looking for that as a self-soother. That should be added bonus to it.
Go to the pharmacy, go to the vitamin section, go get your vitamin D in the bottle. 4,000 units a day, grab your 5-HTP while you're there. You're going to find it there. Follow the instructions on the bottle for the 5-HTP. Use 5-HTP when you feel like you're depressed, like when you're down. Eat those healthy whole foods, get that serotonin level up.
I love this. And I feel I am such I don't want to say a conspiracy theorist, but I feel like there's an agenda.
Oh yeah.
To feed us not only false information, but the most harmful information possible. So people want to be happy. So we see all this propaganda about getting happiness from outside sources, okay, which obviously there's a commercial component. And then so many people are unwell and they are being told to medicate when there are all these natural things. There's a whole rabbit hole I could go down, but it's just mind-blowing that there are so many studies of people who are getting actual healing from things like meditation and just changing your diet. And so this is so deep. And I know that sometimes people can see my content and be like, but I thought you were dating a relationship coach, but it's all connected. Like,
yes, listen, you cannot have a happy relationship if you don't bring happiness. Bring happiness.
Yeah. So good. Okay. Your next question, number 3, do you show yourself respect and dignity? Can you give an example of a time that you wouldn't? I want people to have to see an example of a time you're disrespecting yourself, not showing yourself dignity, but maybe it didn't even occur to you that you were doing it because you're just on autopilot.
If you don't have standards, so you're in a relationship with somebody and they say, stop being such a might have to bleep that. I don't know if you do.
You
So, okay. So you need to say, hey, I don't do that. I don't call you names because that's not the relationship that I want.
Mhm.
If you insist on calling me names, I will not stay in this relationship because I refuse to be in a relationship where there is verbal abuse.
I love that. I absolutely love it. And I like to tell my clients, because it's difficult at first if you don't have a relationship with yourself, which sounds crazy to people, like, how could I be in my 30s or 40s and I don't have a relationship with myself? But a lot of people don't even know themselves. And so I give the example, take yourself outside of yourself. If someone else were to do it, would you be highly, highly pissed? And I said, just take, for example, the way that we as women can think about ourselves. There's always giant mirrors by our shower. So when you get out of your shower, are you like, ew, you're disgusting? I said, well, what if someone literally walked up to you and said, ew, you're disgusting? You'd be ready to throw hands because that's just not acceptable. But yet we're telling ourselves that internally. And so I see all of that as disrespect to yourself.
So let me kind of jump into that one a little bit. When you say you'd be ready to throw hands, my thought is way too many women are not ready to throw hands. And that's because they don't look at themselves in the mirror and say, I am beautiful. I am perfect, regardless of their shape and their look. You know, look, it's easy for me to look in the mirror at this age, the way I look and say, I am beautiful, I am perfect. But I need to still do it at 60, at 70, at 80, at 90. This is going to fall, girl. I'm not going to look like this forever. But we have to keep doing that, giving ourselves respect for who we are, how we look, the body we embody. Do respect your body with good food, with movement, with being conscious of what you need to do. I just hired a personal trainer because I'm 49, the muscle mass is going. I need to make sure I maintain my strength. Respect your body, respect what your body needs, eat those whole foods. But when you drink a glass of water, every swallow, I am beautiful, I am perfect, I am vital. Every swallow, it needs to be a mantra, acknowledging yourself and being respectful of your body.
I'm telling you, I have goosebumps all down my arm, and I know you're going to get this because we're here. But as I was running today, I was so filled with emotion, and I was listening to very positive, uplifting songs. It was worship music. And I just was expressing my gratitude. I was like, I have the use of my body. And I felt so alive. I was just so conscious of how the blood felt rushing through my body. I have had 2, not injuries, but I've hurt my back twice, tweaked it really bad, herniated discs. And so for me, the idea, I know what it feels like to not have it just for a couple days. And I'm so grateful. And it feels kind of cheesy in the moment. It's very like Disney movie, but that's how we need to be. Life is so precious.
Yeah, it honestly is. And we do take these moments for granted. And part of my gratitude is thank you for my abilities. Thank you for my capabilities, because there may be a point where I cannot open a cupboard door and reach up and grab a mug for my coffee.
Yes.
And I don't know when that's going to happen.
Yes. And I was thinking just today, I have such a peace that even if my situation changes, I know my peace is going to continue. Like your peace is not contingent upon the fact that you can reach the cabinet. You're still going to find things that you're grateful for. God forbid you ever couldn't. Does that make sense? Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Love this. Okay. Number 4, do you take care of your own needs? You want to give us a quick example?
So the most important question we're ever going to ask ourselves is, what do I want? What do I want? Because we get so caught up in their wants, their needs. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they wanting? How can I change this? How can I make things better? And like, it's the outward focus, right? It's the outward focus. We need to find ourselves in those moments. I call it a spin.
Yeah.
Find ourselves in the spin and go, wait a second. And what the mantra is you, by the way, right? The mantra is you, because there's a couple ways to use you.
Okay.
If you're getting over a breakup and you're finding yourself yearning and pining, it's wait a minute, you said this, you did this.
The guy.
You, yeah.
Yeah.
To replace the yearning with the anger.
Yes.
Because you need to use the anger to do the pushback off the yearning to get into the healing and the moving forward. But when you are in a spin, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? How am I going to fix this? Blah, 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 right? Outward focus. Wait a second. You, right? Because sometimes we're spinning on someone we love. It doesn't need to be angry, but it needs to be a pushback.
Yes.
You in the most gentle way, right? And then you turn it in and you go, what do I want? And we do a check-in, like this physical body right now, I haven't been focusing on because I've been focusing out. What do I want? It's been several hours since I had a glass of water. I want a glass of water. I want to go sit and watch a crime show for an hour. I want to take a bubble bath. I want, like, check in. What does this body need right now? And when you satisfy that, watch the show, have the glass of water, have a little apple. What's next? What do I want? Okay, do that. What's next? What do I want? And get used to checking in and saying, what do I want? And satisfying that.
I can't stop smiling because this is so crazy. Hearing someone else describe exactly what I feel. And this is literally part of my coaching curriculum. And this is what's fascinating. This is why I'm bringing this up. There is truth out there. There exists truth. And to me, the reason why what'd you say?
Universal knowledge.
Yes.
You pray, I meditate, which means we tap into it.
Yes. And when you see it, I just did a live stream this morning. So many people have their version of it, but it's all the same. It's the exact same thing, no matter what you call it. You call it lavender, I call it pinkle, what is it, periwinkle?
Right.
All the same thing. And in my coaching sessions, I tell people to identify the negative voice. That voice that's not, I call it not serving you. It's coming from a place that takes you out of your peace. And I said, I tell the women, assign a female name that you have a negative connotation with, so it can fire you up. It could be a teacher who was nasty to you as a kid. It could be a neighbor who just is so mean to you, whatever it is, but just so she can visualize it to get fired up, like you were talking about with the F you. And that way you can get rid of that, redirect it. And I said, acknowledge what's actually happening. Yes, I feel sad because I miss having this person in my life. But I said, the way you fight her, because I like to make it something out of you, you fight her with that truth. But the truth is, honey, he did not treat me well. And how many nights did I cry? That's right. So shut it down. I need you to hush. And I said, you got to get in that because it feels powerful. And I think that's why a lot of guys are really good, because they know how to channel that, and they box it out, or they run, or they play sports. But I think we as women, we need to know when to get indignant, because sometimes it's good to put your hair up and get in there.
I love that. We need to know when to get indignant. Absolutely. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. What are we on? Number 5. Do you show yourself love and kindness on a daily basis? And so you kind of gave what could be examples of that, but you want to give us a little?
The words, right? Like, oh, your hair looks beautiful. Oh, when you negate, when somebody wants to show you love and kindness, you're not showing yourself love and kindness because you're not allowing yourself to absorb the goodness. I tell people to write cheat sheets, right? So what is it about yourself that you are insecure? Is it about how you look? Is it about you writing a book? Is it about your practice?
Back in my coaching.
What is it, right? And so write down what other people say that's positive, whether they said it to someone else and you heard it secondhand, or they said it directly to you. write it down on a cheat sheet. And when you go into that insecure moment, go and read it. When somebody gives you a compliment, regardless of the cognitive dissonance going on, which is half your brain saying, I want this, the other half saying, I don't deserve this, creating that uncomfortable sensation in your body that makes you say, oh no, I don't look so good today. That. If somebody gives you a compliment, no matter what's happening in your brain and your body, the words out of your mouth are thank you. And so you learn to accept that there is goodness about you, learn to accept your talents, and just stand in it. And when you speak of yourself, never speak negatively of yourself. Never, never, ever. Because sometimes the evolution needs to be from the outside in. We cannot wait for our brain to catch up. We cannot wait for our thought patterns to catch up. We need to make our behaviors match our intent. I intend to be confident. I intend to love myself. And so the behaviors that you display becomes the transformation in your brain.
I absolutely love that. And when you were talking about taking a compliment, I think people think of it logically, like, I don't think that. You know, you could say, oh my gosh, Yonci, that dish was amazing. And I'm like, oh, this batch wasn't even that good. We think about it logically, right? But I liked what you were saying because it made me think about words being love. You were trying to give me love. And just like I would not, if you reached your arms out to hug me and go, that would be so rude. You shouldn't do that with the compliment. And when we dismiss that compliment, even if we think we're being humble, it's dismissing love. That love was intended for you and it was given graciously, and you should be a gracious recipient of that gift.
Not only that, but it makes the other person feel good. If you go to the food bank and you drop off food and they say, no, not today, sorry. Do you feel crappy?
Right.
If you go to the food bank and you hand it over, they go, thank you, I appreciate this. Do you feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with a compliment. Somebody delivered something that they thought was good. I want to do something good. Oh, you don't want it? Okay. So you saying thank you allows the other person to feel good. So don't be selfish. Take those compliments.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You are giving me so much more than I even came for. I absolutely love it. I love my expectations being exceeded. Okay, so I think we're on number 6. Do you stand up for yourself when someone is disrespecting your boundaries? And we did kind of talk about that, like if a guy were to, curse you out or whatever, and you're like, oh no. So I think that one's pretty self-explanatory.
I can touch on that one again.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Let's say you're single, you're out there, you're dating, you're using the no kissing for 3 months dating rule. I hear you have a 90-day rule.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you meet somebody and you go on a date, you let them know about your no kissing for 3 months dating rule. You go on the second date, the third date, he moves in for a kiss. You set a boundary. You let him know ahead of time what your boundary was, no kissing for 3 months. So I have girls who come on my lives who say, he kissed me. And I'm like, are you talking about your life as though you have no control?
Thank you.
You have hands, you push them back. You say, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yes.
I said I don't kiss for 3 months. So when I say stand up, I mean stand up. Do not let things happen to you. Do not ever talk about your life as though you have no control, and do not ever let anybody take your control away from you.
Let the church say amen. Look.
Sugar.
I was like, if we were in the Black church right now, there'd be an organ playing. You just gave a little word, honey. A shoe might be thrown at the altar, something. 100,000%. And this is the part that is so interesting. And I got this tidbit from Kev Hick. Free shout out to Kev. His content is amazing. He gives major insight into the psyche of a man's mind, so that we not only get the tips, but we get the why. And he said, ladies, when a woman has boundaries and enforces them, he said it is so much of a turn on, because he said, and this is a little bonus, you guys, this is because when he sees a woman, he wants to think of himself as being special. like back in the day, a knight had to fight for her honor or whatever. Like any old random dude couldn't get audience with the princess or, whomever. Like you had to prove you were worth it. So when women let down their standards and let every Tom, Dick, and Harry come through her emotional gates or physical gates, it takes away from her perceived value, because we're valuable no matter what. But the man sees her as valuable if she has guards at the gate. It's like, you have not paid the toll. So if your toll is 3 months and no kissing, that's what it is. If your toll is no sex before marriage, that's what it is. Whatever it is, stick to it. And there will be a guy who is willing, very willing, more than happy to oblige you. But people get so caught up on the guys who are like, I ain't paying that price. Honey, well, then you're not my target audience. You are not my ideal customer. So shoo, like, no need to be upset about him.
A selfish short-term thinker doesn't like your boundaries, because a selfish short-term thinker wants what he wants when he wants it. His terms, not yours. A generous long-term thinker loves boundaries for the reason that you stated. It shows selectivity, and there's an evolutionary purpose to that. So a man who's looking for a relationship, back in caveman days, the man who was looking to pair bond with a woman, it was for the purpose of making sure his DNA was going to survive. If a woman showed non-selectivity, she didn't show the signs of being a smart mater, right? She didn't show enough intelligence. Because if she didn't care who planted the DNA in her body, if she chose somebody who wasn't going to help her survive, she reduced her own chances of survival, and certainly the chances of survival of the baby being born. And so a male who's looking for a relationship is looking to pair bond with a female who is seeking a strong male, not any male.
I'm just going to be silent so people can marinate on that, because my water really quick. That period. I'm not even gonna add on that. Beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay. Wow. Y'all, there's layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. Okay. So I'm going to go through, let's see my notes, because you said something that was so poignant. I just wanted to just read it as a quote. Okay. So you're talking about the danger of not having the proper amount of self-love. You said one of two things will happen, and both of them are bad. Okay, here's the first one. Quote, you will seek out people who treat you with the same lack of consideration you treat yourself.
Yeah.
I'm going to read that again. You will seek out people who treat you with the same lack of consideration you treat yourself. Or here's the other unpleasant alternative. You will reject people who try to give you goodness because you will self-sabotage. Mm-hmm. So you're going to either attract the F-boy, or you're going to attract an amazing guy, but push him away with your mess. So this is serious.
Two things at play. The first one is like attracts like. Right? Like frequencies attract like frequencies. And the second one is we seek what's familiar, even if it's wrong for us. And there's an evolutionary purpose to that. Back in caveman days, if I'm familiar with the territory, I know where the food is, I don't starve. I know where the predators are, I don't get eaten. If I leave unfamiliar territory, my brain sends out a distress signal because my survival chances are now reduced because I need to go find out and I might get killed in the process. We still have that in our brain, but it's now a glitch because we don't need it. And so when we step out, listen, my mom was abusive when I was growing up. So what did I get into for 3 years? An abusive relationship because I sought the familiar.
You knew what to expect.
And let me tell you, it was hella uncomfortable when I got into a relationship with somebody who was the opposite of abusive. I needed to adjust to this new territory. When my husband and I went from 10 years of fighting to 6 years without a single fight, I went through an adjustment period because it was uncomfortable being in this unfamiliar territory. But people read this physical discomfort as a sign that this is not where they should be. And so they retract themselves back to familiar territory, even if it's bad for them.
So every time I pause, I feel like that could have been a whole YouTube video. Like it's meaty. And I want people to know we are scratching the surface of this stuff. And even though this sounds sales pitchy, I'm so serious, because whether it's me, whether it's her, whether it's someone else, you can fast track your process if you have a coach. Because there are so many people who slap that term on their coach, and it's kind of like, well, what do you expect from that person? But what it is it's a fast track. It's like, yes, you can kind of figure things out, just like you could go to YouTube and learn math, or you could go to a college class and get everything that you need and have someone there going through step by step, like, oh, the reason why it's because you're not carrying the one, and help you out. So you guys, if you're enjoying this stuff, seriously consider getting somebody to assist you in that process, because I had to learn this myself. And that is what compelled me to do this full time, quit my job to do this full time, because I don't want anyone else to have to suffer through if they don't have to. And the generous thing about God, or my viewers might say the universe, is that it's out there. What you need is out there, but you have been gifted with people who can fast forward you there. No, there's no wrong way. But just know there's an option. Were you going to add something?
No, that's perfect, my love.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Woo. Here's another quote. All right. It's unfair to ask anybody to love you more than you love yourself.
Not fair to ask for anything you're not willing to do first.
That's hypocritical. And that's my biggest pet peeve with relationships. I mean, I should be loving, but that gets under my skin when there's hypocrisy, especially if it's like indignant. You're indignant, but when you do it, it's like you're not even cognizant of it. The next one, you said, if you look in the mirror and keep criticizing the person staring back at you, how will you possibly perceive yourself as worthy and attractive? One. And two, how will you appreciate someone who does? It's going to be foreign to you.
So one thing that I say is you need to be willing to pat yourself on the back. My TikTok says #1 dating and relationship coach, right? #1. Listen, show me someone else who has 10 books. Show me someone else in a 16-year relationship after making all the mistakes before finding this one, choosing all the wrong ones, finally choosing the right one. 10 years of fighting, figure out how to stop fighting, having a honeymoon every single day after 16 years. Do you know when was the last time I made up with my husband? Like an hour and a half ago.
Yes. No wonder you were glowing when you came on.
Oh, every day I make out with this man. Every day. He's so sexy. He's so wonderful. I love him so much. My viewers are like, I love how you light up when you talk about him.
As it should be.
And so, you need to be able to say, yes, I'm good. Yes, I'm beautiful. Yes, I am it. I am it. Because if you can't say this to yourself about yourself, when somebody comes to you and says, you're the best dating coach I've ever come across, you will reject it.
Couldn't agree more. I really couldn't agree more. And I've been on a journey even as a dating coach. You have the what is it? Imposter syndrome when you're trying something new, because like you said, you want the familiar. And it's funny because I ask women there's a rating system when they kind of on my intake first session. And I have a scale of 1 to badass. They rate themselves 1 to badass in all these different facets. And it's so crazy because I see people who their eyes say they want to say 10, they want to say badass, but they'll go 9. I think I had one person say 10. And I would say, honey, I think I'm a 10 in all these. So it's not about being arrogant. I literally think that I am a 10. And it's not from a place of being in denial, but it's like, even if I'm giving my best effort in there, I'm good. And whatever I haven't reached, I know that I'm working on it. So even if you say my body, I love my body. and I can give it a 10 because I know that I'm doing what it takes to get to where I need to be. I'm doing my running, I'm drinking my water diligently. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they're going to get all these curves and whatever. Okay, what was the next quote I loved? You said, how can you possibly, I feel like maybe is that the same version of that? Well, how can you possibly ask someone else? Oh, no, it isn't. It isn't the same. It's just a variation. How can you possibly ask someone else to make you happy when you don't even know how to make yourself happy? That's the part that tripped me out. At first I was reading it like it was the other one. But yes, so you're saying, you know, do all these things to make me excited and happy. And can we even say sexually? And you don't even know what makes you happy.
Yeah. I have so many men who say it didn't matter what I did, nothing was ever good enough. And that was because she didn't actually know how to be happy. She didn't know how to be happy because she didn't know how to make herself happy. And because she was unhappy, we tend, again, the looking out, right? I'm not happy. So what are they doing to make me unhappy? Let me find the story so that I can give them shit about it, and they'll change that. And hopefully that change will make me happy. But the change did not make them happy because they didn't know how to make themselves happy.
And you're still with yourself, no matter how many people you push away. Woo! All right, here's the last one. If loving yourself isn't a priority on your list, hence self-love, how can someone else make loving you their priority?
Even if they did, it wouldn't matter. Even if they did, it wouldn't make a difference. Because if you don't understand how to fulfill yourself, nothing anyone will ever pour into you will fill you up because you have a hole at the bottom.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. This has been a phenomenal conversation. I actually learned a few things during this call, so this is awesome. I love being around people who have light, who are full of life and full of love.
Your life is a choice. Your life is a choice. Your mindset is a choice. Your health is a choice, you know, and until it's taken away from you, right? Like I said to my husband one time, I'm like, because I tell him I love him every day. He's the best husband in the world. Like I'm very affectionate with him. And so I'm very effusive with my love. And I said to him, I go, baby, enjoy this, because his mom got Parkinson's, right? I said and you know, there's a multitude of things that can happen in your brain. I said, there may come a day where I might not know to love you enough. So enjoy it while you got it.
Yes. Take every single day as though it could be your last and give it that same energy. Well, I absolutely am so grateful that you came on. Like I said, you guys follow her on Instagram. She is at Canada's Dating Coach. You guys, all the information will be there. But I want you to shamelessly plug girl whatever you want to.
Oh, let's do it. Okay, listen.
What you got, girl? What you got? What do people need?
These are my books.
Oh, that's all?
There's 2 more coming this year, and then probably 2 more the next year, because I'm crazy.
Give us a blurb. You need this book because, and go through your list.
So Fake Love Need Not Apply helps you dump.
Sorry, love. Hold it a little higher so we can get it in the shot. Okay, there we go.
Fake is backwards. Fake Love Need Not Apply has you dumping the toxic partner, also recognizing posers, losers, and scammers a mile away. Comeback Queen helps you break out from, helps you heal from a breakup, put your heart back together, get back out there. No More Assholes helps you pick your next partner, make sure they're a generous long-term thinker, not a selfish short-term thinker. Once you kiss that amazing man, after the first kiss, helps you start the relationship off right, on the right foot, on the right tone, functionality. We bring baggage. Let's be honest. I certainly did. People ask me what my favorite book is. I say Fix That, because I was fixing the while I was writing Fix That. So this helps women get to 0 fights in their relationship, and then they beg me for the men's version. So here it is. So that's for men. You get them their men's version, you stick it by the toilet. They'll read a chapter every time they sit down because they're short and sweet. Custom made answers 2 questions. What is my purpose and how do I monetize it? Get this will fix that if you're being codependent, not independent, have a purpose outside your relationship. Men, the dating book is the perfect play, going to teach them how to choose a generous long-term thinker, get over a breakup, elevate their mental health, red flags, green flags. Parents need to put me out of a job by getting this for their teenagers so that the next generation knows what we should have known so that we wouldn't have made the mistakes. And then Say Yes to Goodness, 10 steps to complete and happy you is going to help you be happy in 10 key areas of your life. I am TikTok famous.
Hey, brag.
I have over 700,000 followers on TikTok. I make TikToks every single day. Come follow me on TikTok. You're going to love my stuff.
I'll get your link, your TikTok link, and we'll put that in the description below. I am blown away. And honestly, what you're seeing, because I was going to make a joke and be like, so you're slacking is what you're saying here. But this is the thing. When you clean up, obviously I'm not telling you, you know this, but guys, when you clean up the clutter, it frees you up to spend all that energy you were spending on crappy thoughts and being down and being depressed. And when you eat right and you exercise, you have energy to do that stuff. People are probably always asking you, how in the world do you have time to do content and write books and still be a loving wife and blah, 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 blah. This is why you just are so energized when you wake up every day. You are so excited and it never feels like work. Am I wrong? It feels like the most beautiful gift. Like, I get to do this. I get to do this.
My TV is never on because from the moment my husband comes, so I get up between 8:30 and 9:30 in the morning. I don't set an alarm. I don't do clients until after 12:30. Right. But he comes home at 12:30 at night and I'm live. And I get off my live when he comes home. So I'm working the entire day because I love what I do. Can I give your people a free book?
Oh, that's so sweet. Definitely. All right. What do they have to do to get it?
It's an ebook. So it's the Fake Love Need Not Apply. It's how to break up from a toxic person. It teaches them also how to elevate their self-esteem and also how to make themselves bulletproof against toxic people. Because listen, we got to have our tribe, right? We got to have the people around us who say, no, not that one, my love. So if you go into the link tree in my bio, there's a button that says free book. This is a free ebook. Go get it.
Okay. I'll even post it here so they don't have to get lost. You guys go grab it from her page. You can grab it from here, but make sure you get that information. Thank you. That's very generous of you to do that. I appreciate that. I think that's it. You guys, I'm going to see if she's willing to have a conversation for another day about her 3-month rule of no kissing, because I'm dying to hear about that. So drop a comment if you want to see that discussion happen. And thank you for being here, darling. Until next time, you guys, tell someone that you love.